everyone is making money on penny stocks and small cap stocks and micro caps, whatever you want to call them, except for you. Why is that? I mean, do you feel that way? You're definitely not alone. Why is it that seems like everybody's making money on these stocks and maybe you find yourself at break even, maybe a small gain, maybe a loss, but you just feel like, what is going on? Everybody seems to be making all kinds of money with all these big old movers. Well, I want to explain what's actually going on, and that way I can give you some peace of mind and quite frankly commend you because you're approaching all this in the right way. And no worries, I'm going to show you some real life results. So I'm not just going to sit here in front of the chalkboard the entire time and talk theory to you. I want to show you some results, and including some comments where I give nothing but these people credit for publicly saying what they did. But it really goes to show, kind of the darker side of this whole environment where it seems like everybody's making money except you are. But before I go to the real life results, I want to kind of just walk you through more so the evolution, the anatomy of how these bad behaviors are formed, why it seems certain ways. So first off, let's just go through a trader's journey. So you have a trader and they're going to try something, and there's something, could be some sort of strategy. Now what you see when I go to my desktop, it's a strategy. And as I say, it's not like it's irrelevant. It's not like it's invalid, but there's just more to it than what's actually there. But when you don't really know what you don't know, you have some sort of strategy, and let's just call it ABC, right? You have ABC strategy. And the way that works is ABC strategy, you're going to go and make a trade. So trade one. And you know what happens with trade number one? Boom. Fantastic results. Almost a flawless trade. One of those situations where you're like, wow, I don't think it could have gone any better than that. I mean, a great trade. So, all right, at that point, the logical thought process to have, wow, this is a really great strategy. Fantastic. So then you're going to go and do trade two. And the way this one works is, well, not quite as big as a check mark because it works, but there was a little pain associated with it. It didn't work nearly as flawless as that one, but I mean, it did work. I made money on it. Fantastic. So, hey, you know what? The strategy still works. And then you're going to go, wrong color, that's okay, and make trade three. And then this one, it works, but there was a little bit more pain to it. There was, that could have definitely gone better. I could have certainly gotten a better entry point. But you know what? I held strong hands. I was strong. I was tough. I stuck with my guns. I stuck with my plan, and it worked out. So at this point, it's working. The strategy is working, as basic as it may be. But then what happens, and I should note that these are all working, right? So let me ask you a question. Do you think these ones are showing up on social media, on YouTube, on message boards, on Reddit, on whatever message board form? Do you think, of course, there's all sorts of people. These people are letting the world know, you know what? I'm making all kinds of money. I don't know what that's supposed to be. An upside down. I'm not even going to try. There we go. They're out there telling all sorts of people about these winning trades. Now, of course, maybe they're not going to let you know, but but I had to sit through quite a bit of pain on that one. That one required some pain. I mean, they're definitely going to let you know about that one, which was flawless. But they are letting everybody know. However, during this process, during this formation over here, what we have are bad habits. The bad habits are being formed. They're being developed. And they are going to show up in a very nasty way because now it doesn't necessarily mean on the fourth trade, but somewhere down the line here, you're going to get trade X. And well, let's do this. There we go. You're going to get the frowny face trade. And in many situations, this trade, I won't say wipes away all of these gains, but it takes a massive chunk out of it. In some cases, it does wipe away all those gains and then eats into the principle that you even started with. And it's a nasty situation. Again, no theory. I'm going to show you this in just a second with people literally commenting and saying, whew, I'm in a world of hurt right now after actually having some success. But the next question becomes, when it comes to, what's going on over here, do you think these people are out there talking all about this. Now, in some exceptions, as you'll see, that's why I give this Diego person a whole lot of credit. At least he publicly acknowledged it. But no, the majority of people, I don't even know how to draw a cricket. This is supposed to be a cricket. Okay, you've heard the saying though, right? All you hear is crickets chirping. That's my little cricket right there. But there's not going to be a whole bunch of people bragging when they get absolutely wrecked and destroyed on one of these things, because what was working here, because of those bad habits, ultimately comes up and just destroys them. So with that being said, let me go to my desktop and let me show you and walk you through this exact anatomy here with some real life results. Welcome to my desktop here, and let's go through some actual real life possibilities. And one of these is not a possibility at all, as I'll show you a screenshot of, unfortunately, a very nasty situation for some people. But just to set up the overall premise, let's just say that the strategy is you wait for the first minute to form, and then you're just going to buy the high, right? You're going to buy the breakout of that first range that forms after the first minute. Quick disclosure on my part, I'm not saying that this is actually a valid strategy. I'm not saying that this is how you make money. My point here is that it is a little miniature strategy that you could use, but unfortunately, there's a little bit more that goes into trading than just buying some sort of breakout of the first minute or some sort of range, right? There's more to it than that. But what I like about all these examples is they all kind of show, they do show almost the anatomy, the evolution of somebody thinking they have it figured out, and then all of a sudden they ultimately learn the hard way that it's not quite as easy as it may appear. And in most situations, it starts off with something like this. Now, UONE, again, right here opened up. This was the first minute, which you can see on that candle right there. And that red line represents, okay, well, that's the high of that first minute. Again, the strategy is just buy a breakout of that level. And you can see right there, it consolidates out a little bit. And each one of these represents 1 minute of time, consolidates out, and then gets the break of that level. So there we go. Broke above that red line, the high of that opening minute, and then we'll see what happens. And you can see from that point forward, things got bonkers in a beneficial way. Look at that move. Absolutely crazy. From the breakout area of right down there around, we'll call it $6.85, up to a high of $19. And this all happened in basically, we'll call it 15 minutes. So think about it. Somebody bought the high and then saw those sorts of results. You better believe they're going to be talking about it. You better believe that they're going to be posting it in chat rooms that they're part of or on social media or what have you. And rightfully so, good for them. That they made a fantastic trade. I'm not jealous about it. I'm not hating on them. I get it. Well done. That's a great trade. But again, what is that doing? Well, first off, as you know, the point of the video here is it's giving the illusion that, okay, wow, yeah, everybody seems to be making money on these micro caps. And in this situation, of course, people made money. Literally all you had to do was buy the opening range of that 1 minute. Again, a strategy I see people out there, talking about. And again, it's not like it's a totally invalid thing to do, but my point is there's just a little bit more to it than what a lot of people will disclose. But point here being, it worked very nicely. So at this point, especially if you're new and just getting started in the market, it's a rational thought process to have, hey, yeah, this works for me. I got it all figured out. This is a valid strategy. So here we are looking at CARV, and again, same premise, big volume, a lot of people talking about it, and there's that opening minute. And that red line represents the resistance. And, let's take it back of, this person just got done trading UONE, where they had a great trade. In fact, it was basically the perfect trade. It broke out, and then as you just saw, it never really pulled back. It essentially went straight up. So they're thinking, all right, well, this is some good stuff. I like this strategy a lot. So now they're seeing CARV. And let's go through this, and you can see right there is the breakout. And they get a little bit of a move there. But, let's think about it. From their reference point, they just made a bunch on UONE. So, okay, that's a good move, but I know I can get more. And right there, see, I know I can get more. And then all of a sudden, price pulls back, and price pulls back even more. So their entry point was right here, but now all of a sudden, the price has potentially reversed all the way around on them and gone over $2 against them, we'll call it. So again, over $2 against them. But they're thinking, well, I don't want to give back those gains. And maybe they're freezing up in panic. Let's just see what happens. Okay, at least it's starting to go sideways. Oh, okay, it's starting to recover. At least it's gotten back up to my entry point. Oh no, it pulled back again. Oh, it's pulling back again. Okay, well, at least it's bottoming out. And then you can see right there, ultimately, they could have walked away with still a very nice gain as, yeah, it pulled back, but then went up in their favor. But I mean, maybe, do you see what's going on here? They let something pull back that far against them. They crossed their fingers, held, hoped. And to be fair, that was the right decision to do because it ultimately did come back above that level and they could have made some really nice money. So yes, in this exact situation, it was the right thing to do. But the habit being formed, not exactly a good habit, not what you want to be doing as a trader. Holding and hoping is not a long-term strategy, but let's go and find something else. So here we are looking at WKHS. Again, same thing, 1 minute candle, red line represents a resistance level. So let's see how this one played out. So first minute closes, and then the next minute right there, you can see the breakout occurred. So breakout has occurred, and then look at that full pullback. Nasty move to the downside, but it is not over. Now you can see pulling back even more. Pulling back even more. Think about it. Entry point was up here. Now the price has come all the way down to that area. But again, let's think about this trader's journey. They just went through one where, yeah, the price pulled back. Oh, yeah, and I got painful. But you know what? They held because it's a good company, right? It'll come back. And they held. It'll come back. And they held. And you know what? It did, as you just saw with the previous example. It did come back. So there's no doubt about it. Yeah, it absolutely came back. But now, so they're thinking that same exact thing. It's coming down. But you know what? Oh, wow. It'll come back. See, I told you it'll come back. See, hey, look, it's coming back. Okay. Look at that. It's coming back. And right there, now all of a sudden, it has come back. You're absolutely right. It's come back. It pulled back. And not only did it come back, you can see it actually went up that much higher and gave them the opportunity to, maybe some people would have just said, I'm just going to get out for break even. But even if they held, because again, last time they held and they turned off to turn a nice profit. And here, once again, they had the opportunity to turn in a nice profit. But I mean, let's think about this. Again, what just happened? Yes, in this exact situation, it was proper. They made the right choice to hold and hope because as deep and nasty as that pullback was, crazy to think it ultimately recovered. And again, what is the habit being formed? Not really a good habit to have. But in that situation, once again, the strategy of buying, holding and hoping, ultimately worked out. So here we are looking at CTIB, and I think you get the overall moral of the story here. First 1 minute, there's the resistance. So let's see how this one played out. Right there is the breakout. So buy signal, it's worked before, and this trader is thinking, and they've gone through several examples of it working, of them making money, and then it starts to pull back. So at this point, I mean, the trader's probably like, oh, here we go, yeah, whatever. I know how this goes, though. I mean, pull back, but it'll recover. This is a good company. This had good news. This had fill in blank of some sort of rationalization and justification of why they, shouldn't be disciplined, why they shouldn't be, honoring risk management or anything like that, other than just holding and hoping. Pulls back some more. So at this point, I mean, you could see that trader not being worried at all because they just went through WKHS, which you saw was a big old pullback and it recovered. So at this point, yeah, you know what? They're probably not that worried at all. And I'm going to speed this one up. But as of now, there are no pullbacks. Let me just so we can continue to see what happens. It is not going back up. If anything, it is just continuing to go further and further down. So again, the entry point was up here. Basically, we'll just call it at $6, a little bit below, but $6. And now this thing is at $3.50 and they're still holding. And if you don't think that they increase position size, if you don't think that, and rightfully so, right? They just had all these winners. They want to grow their account so they can do math. They're like, well, if I buy more shares, then I'll actually make even more money. And I have this strategy that works. And I see all these other people posting stuff out there on social media of them making a lot of money. And I want to make more money too. So yeah, let me buy more shares. So they go and buy more shares at that point. And now all of a sudden, they're even further and further down. And just to watch this continue to play out, let me just do this to summarize here, kind of the moral of the story here. So let's go to the 5 minute. As of right now, this thing, there is that red line entry.
is down, went as low as $2.75, has recovered, quote unquote, to right now, as of the recording of this video, $3.25. In other words, they are getting slaughtered. And if they're still holding and hoping, well, you know what? I suppose it could recover, but at this point, things are looking very, very bleak, and they are in a world of hurt. Well, Clay, you just picked like a worst case scenario. Not everything can work out all the time. There's no holy grail, but I mean, it's not that bad. You just found one that really, really looked bad. All right, that's a fair point. I'm not going to argue against that. But let's just take a look at another one here, UONEK. So again, there's that first minute. There's the red line. Let's see how this one played out. So pulls back, consolidates out, goes up there, and right there breaks through that red line right around $6.80. But there was the break right there. In fact, after a nice pullback, a nice bounce upwards. So, I mean, technically speaking, that's not a terrible entry point or anything like that. That makes sense looking for the breakout there. But how did things play out from there? Well, you can see, again, pulling back. Well, it'll come back up, holding and hoping. It'll come back up, holding and hoping. And you see that the price just continues to drop further and further down. And to save time, let's go to the 5-minute time frame here. And you can see that as of now, and again, there was the entry point up around 680 cents. As of the time of this video, it is at $2.27. That is a bloodbath. That is getting slaughtered. And there is no theory here. In fact, a little context just so this makes more sense. I do have another YouTube channel where all I do are analyses of technical charts. So, that's where this comment is coming from. And you can see over here to add more context. This is coming from, well, right there, UONEK. And then you can see the date right there. And I bring that up because these entry points that this person is talking about makes perfect sense. I do want to commend, I have nothing but respect for Diego here. He's not one of these people that's only posting winners and trying to make it seem like all he does is win. He's just straight up fessing up that he's bag holding. Bag holding just means holding and hoping, right? That's all that means. And I'm not going to go through everything, but you can see that this person says, LOL, me too. So there's somebody else. There's at least 2 people that we know of that probably had success with this strategy, and now all of a sudden things have turned around and they are just holding and hoping and wanting for it to go back up. So then this person asks, what number did you buy in at? And Diego says right here, I bought Wednesday at 680. Why is 680 significant? Well, it is the exact value of, remember, the breakout point. So this person was using that strategy. Like I said, it's you see it out there all the time. And once more, I really want to reiterate, I'm not saying that there aren't components of it that make sense. There aren't components of it that can be valid, but there is more to trading than to just simply buying some sort of breakout of previous highs and then, that's all it takes. Then you just wait and wait. No, because if you wait and wait, then you can turn into one of these situations where the price never recovers. It just pulls back and you get absolutely destroyed, as these couple of people were talking about. And an account can shift extremely quickly. You can have a couple of those big winners, but then all it takes is a couple of these, and it's not really fun to talk about these. So you're not going to hear many stories about this when you have movements that don't work out and prices that go down a whole lot more, because people want to talk about their accounts growing, not dramatically getting destroyed, which is what's going on here. And those people that we were just showing in that example, right now, if you read through it, they're just averaging down, meaning they're buying more and more, hoping that the thing recovers back upwards. And it might work out, but again, it goes back to those habits. And if it doesn't work out, especially when you're averaging down, and if this thing keeps on drifting lower and lower and lower, that is a guaranteed way to completely destroy your account. But here are just a couple of, like I said, real life examples showing that, things can be great, but things can also be really, really bad when you allow those bad habits to form and you kind of oversimplify trading. You don't want to, it shouldn't be overcomplicated, but you don't want to, oversimplify it as you saw these people do. And it's not, as of the time of this recording, not really turning out very well for them.
Isn't that crazy? Again, Diego, shout out to you. Props for being just transparent about it. But yeah, Diego was very clearly trying to buy that breakout. He bought the breakout, which had worked previously, but on that one did not work. And as far as I know, has still not worked. So hopefully at some point he just decides to wave the white flag and reassess the situation and realize that there's more to trading, there's more to strategy than just simply buying some sort of new break or new high break. Yeah, again, that's a starting point of a solid strategy, sure, but there is more to it than buying the break and then just holding and hoping. So I wish nothing but the best for him, but a nasty situation. Both of those, right? I mean, think about how many of those gains would have then been wiped away. Because especially when people start to average down, things just get nasty in a hurry. So be aware of it and just understand that the only reason why you feel like you're struggling is probably because you're honoring risk. Like you're stopping out when you should be stopping out. You actually have risk management rules in place. Because when you don't have risk management rules in place, yeah, you can have things go way down and come back up and you can walk away with a winning trade, even though it should have been a losing trade. But eventually, those bad habits are going to show up in a big, big way. And I don't want to see that happen to you. So like I said, if it feels like everybody's making money, just realize that's because most people, crickets, you know, when things go bad, they're not going to be out there proclaiming to the world all about it. So hopefully this helps. If you found this video helpful, if you want me to make more videos like this, just easy way to communicate that to me. Hit that like button. Leave it any questions, comments, suggestions down below. I do read all comments and will reply to them. And if you've watched any of my other past videos, you've seen that. And then finally, check out the channel as a whole. And hopefully you like what you see enough to want to hit that red subscribe button, as I'd love to have you as a subscriber. But yeah, don't worry about it. You're not alone. As much as it seems like everybody's making money except you, that's just an illusion for the reasons just discussed. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.